Good evening. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm happy if anybody's watching tonight, and if not, I know you'll pick it up later because everybody's making dinner right now. So I make these videos when I'm making dinner, but for some people that's just the really wrong time to watch, and that's perfectly fine. Anyway, how was your day? I have to say that I have this, if I have any energy these days, it's nervous energy. And I don't know if that's a good thing. You know, I like driven by kind of anxiety and worry. I worry about my kids going to get the groceries, but they always come back fine and they bring me beautiful things. And today, Darren and Adrian went to Costco and brought me back a whole whack of berries and a whole whack of broccoli. So I felt like, okay, those are energy foods and I need the good kind of energy, the focused kind of energy. So I thought tonight, I just got some leftover chicken in the fridge, not very exciting. I thought maybe we'll just make some chicken sandwiches, but let's add a nice homemade broccoli soup and a berry crisp, which is a thing that is such we call it the famous berry crisp at our house because it's the quickest little dessert to make, loaded with fruit, not too sweet, quite full of good nutritious food, and as comforting as a pie in a snap like that. So quick to make. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. And I've got Bob here with me to do some filming. And I don't know if anybody's on yet, so I'm just going to tag a few people. So if you feel like watching, please watch. It'll be great. Love to see you. Okay. Back to the video. Okay. So anyway, so a broccoli soup. I use the food processor when I'm making soup because I don't really care about the shape of the vegetables and it's the quickest thing, but if you don't have a food processor, you can just chop it up. So we're going to start with that, and I'm going to get Bob to start some filming so I have my hands free. There's Bob.
Howdy.
Okay, there we go. So into the food processor with the cutting blade, I'm going to put an onion. Get these things peeled up first. I'm going to put an onion. I'm going to put some shallots. I've got a nice big box of shallots today too. Shallots are a milder kind of cooking onion. They give they're a bit sweeter, I'll say, a little less pungent, and they're very nice in something where you want the other vegetables to shine. I'm not doing a full flavor base tonight, just a shallot and an onion and a couple of cloves of garlic. You probably already know that trick. If you just give them a little smash with your knife, you can get the skins off a lot easier. And I'm just going to put them through the food processor to chop them up tonight because I'm going to put the broccoli in there as well. Broccoli are pre-chopped. They do need a little wash. Pre-chopped. Oh, I've got berries ready to go here. broccoli. Flowerets. These are free because they came from Costco, as I said. Normally I would just buy a big broccoli, and I would put the whole 2 or 3 stalks that come in a bunch from the grocery store. I'd put that whole thing through with the stems and everything. When you're making soup, you can use it all. Okay, and I'm going to put those through the food processor too. Some of them might be a little large for the tube. Just get them the right size for the tube. And this is going to be a pureed soup. We're going to puree it at the end. So I start with the things really small and they'll cook up pretty fast. Let's get those down through the food processor here. Usually my guide to make any vegetable soup is that when the bowl of the food processor is full, I have enough vegetables. And it's not full yet, as you can see. I remember, I've been making broccoli soup for years, of course. When I kept a big vegetable garden, I always had broccoli in the vegetable garden, and I would make soup with it. But also, I remember, this is years and years ago, I was quite ill, and I had an emergency surgery, which had left me not only very sore, and my abdomen, healing from a great big wound, but also just kind of in shock. Really, I was in shock because I had gone into the hospital the night before just feeling a little bit sick, and the next morning I was having surgery. And a lovely neighbor, when I got home, neighbors, oh my God, I lived in the country, and not that it wouldn't happen in the city, it would happen here too, I know it would, but people just showed up every day for 6 weeks. Every day there was either a phone call or something came in the mail, or a pot of some delicious thing would arrive on my porch. And one day it was broccoli soup. And I remember that broccoli soup was so fresh and green, and it was like heaven. I'll never forget it. It was like ambrosia, like the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And maybe we're all in a little bit of shock right now over what's happening to our lives and thinking about the future, but it's just nothing's what we expected. I was filling up my calendar. I had tickets to go see Hamilton, and that was the first night it was canceled. Was the night I had tickets for. Didn't see it. I had tickets for our season's tickets at the Coal Mine Theater and at the Crows Theater. And, all that. We just merrily going along our way, and overnight everything changed. We're all in a bit of shock. So maybe that's what I was thinking about when I thought of broccoli soup. So you see how my bowl is just about full there of vegetables? That's no matter what kind of vegetable soup I'm making, I try to fill up the bowl of the food processor. Come on around, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes into the soup pot all together. Don't bother, you don't have to do anything more fancier than that. Just all goes in the pot together. And then some good homemade stock on top. I have lamb stock. I made lamb shanks for Easter, and I kept the bones, and I made stock out of the lamb shanks. Now, again, if you're going to make a pureed soup, the amount of stock you use is the amount that will just cover the vegetables. So just bring the camera over here, Bob, so they can watch.
Amy says hello.
Hi, Amy. So when there's going to be just
and
enough.
Laura.
And Laura's watching too? Oh, Laura Wood. Hi,
Yeah.
Laura.
And
Hi.
Adrian, who's that?
Oh, Adrian.
Ah.
See, just enough to cover that. Adrian brought me all these vegetables. Hi. Just enough to cover the vegetables, and not more. You're not going to fill the pot right up, okay? And then I'm just going to add some salt and pepper, and that's it. I could add some herbs. I'll probably do that at the end. Some two good pinches of salt, because of course there's no salt in the stock because it's homemade. If you have store-bought. You have to be careful about that. Not so much salt. Some pepper. Bring that to the boil. And then I'll turn it down to simmer. And when it's all nice and it won't take long, maybe 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to put it through the blender. And that's it. I'll correct the seasoning, maybe add a little bit of herb. I have some fresh thyme that I froze actually. Last week I had fresh herbs, as you remember, and I was so excited. So I didn't want to waste them. So what I did was I had rosemary and I had thyme, and Bob and I stood there and took all the leaves off, and then we put them in the ice cube trays. I have my ice cube tray. Yeah, I just put a little handful into each one, filled up with olive oil, and then put that in the freezer. And then I took out the little cubes and I put them in the freezer. And now I can use them like fresh herbs. So, good trick. You probably heard that trick before. Okay, soup's on. Now I'm going to get the berry crisp going. I've got the oven up to 350. You want to come around the other side again, Bob?
Can do.
And this recipe is so easy. It works for whatever fruit you want to use. You want to use apples. You want to do mixed berries. You want to do one kind of berries. You want to do peaches when they're in season. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So I'm going to give my berries a wash. I'm going to do a mix of strawberries, raspberries. Frozen berries are good in this too. If you've got some frozen berries that you use for smoothies, you know, any mix of those that they make for smoothies, any of those mixes will make a great berry crisp. I can't think of one that wouldn't. I have to clean these strawberries, and then I'm going to do blackberries as well. You can use blueberries, any fruit that you like. Now I haven't tried it with tropical things like mango or anything like that, so I'll just, you know, I'll be honest about that. I haven't done that. But, you know, probably good.
Laura Wood says she does it with garlic. So.
With garlic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flu season, why not? Eh?
Yeah, flu season. Yeah. Only it was just the flu season. Okay, so. Now, the thing about strawberries, of course, is of all the berries, they're the ones with the most liquid in them. So if you're going to do an all strawberry, you might have to thicken it a bit with some, a little bit of cornstarch and water. But because this is a mix, I'm not going to do that. There's a little bit on there that I'm not liking the look of. And now, I'm going to leave it up to you whether you put any sugar on the berries or not. I'm not going to. I don't need the sugar. But you can. Maybe a tablespoon or two sprinkled over. It's up to you if you want to sweeten that up a bit. That's up to you for the filling. Like I said, we're going to have it without sugar. There will be sugar in the crisp, so for me that's enough. Okay. And now I'm going to make the top, or the crisp part. And do this. The simplest recipe, I don't even need to post it, although I will. You know I will. But I don't really need to post it. This is how simple it is. 1 cup of oats. 1 cup of flour, and it could be your choice of flour. You can use whole wheat. I haven't tried almonds, but I think it would work because you're not looking for a really gluten-y thing here. So your choice of flour, 1 cup of flour, so 1 and 1. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. To me, that's all it needs. If you want it sweeter, you go ahead. That's up to you. You know your family's sweet too.
I have 2 of those.
Bob has an amazing sweet tooth, but he doesn't mind this berry crisp at all. So how much cinnamon? I was just going to sprinkle, but I know you want me to measure. I'm going to say a teaspoon and a half, okay? I think that'll be about right. I'm trying to be disciplined when I do this with you. And a half a cup of butter. I'm going to melt it in the microwave. And that's all. I used to put baking powder in this, but it doesn't need it. This recipe is in the, if you happen to have the very first issue of the Harris Smith cookbook, mine is so spattered and stained. It's back from the days of the Back to the Landers, back in the early 80s. I was a Back to the Lander, big vegetable garden and all that. And I submitted this recipe for rhubarb crunch, we called it. This is the same, we use rhubarb for this at home. The recipe came from my neighbor when I was a little tiny girl, my parents' neighbor. And she had a big rhubarb patch. You'd sit with a little bowl of sugar in the rhubarb patch and take a stalk and dip it in the sugar. And anyway, we used to make this with rhubarb. But this is the same recipe that we've always used for any kind of fruit. I'm going to turn this down. Nope, not yet. It needs another little minute. So, I'm going to use this shape of pan. You can use a square pan, whatever you like. I like this because this is a Le Creuset because it's really heavy, and I think it does a great job. But any good heavy pan, a square one, would be about right, probably. This is, like, I just have to wait for the butter. So, it's a half a cup of melted butter. Remember, it was 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of flour, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, up to you how much. I use 2 tablespoons, and a half a cup of butter. You can also, I used the same recipe the other day. I made an apple pie. I put just a crust on the bottom, a pastry crust on the bottom, sliced in the apples, and then I just sprinkled this on top rather than a top crust. Same deal. It's a really good all-purpose kind of mix. Okay, start with a little bit in the bottom. You don't have to grease it because there's lots of butter in there. Berries on top. I caught a minute on CP24, I guess the news was on this morning, what's her name, the redhead on CTV, the cook that's so enthusiastic, what's her name, the red hair, the red lipstick. Anyway, she was saying she's doing these little videos as well. She was making a clafouti, which is very simple. It's like a pancake with, a baked pancake with fruit in it. And she was saying how she's been showing people how to make chicken stock and how to use up everything in their fridge. So it's in the zeitgeist. People are thinking the same way as we are. You know, that we are getting back to some good, nutritious cooking that's not wasteful, that uses everything in the kitchen, and that is comforting, nutritious, and that anybody can make. That's it. There you go. That's all that's going to be. Just give it a little pat. That goes in the oven, 350 for 35 minutes. It's yummy. Okay, let's have a little look at the soup. Come on around, Bob. We'll have a little look at the soup.
Mm-hmm.
Smells great. So, I'm going to turn that down to simmer. Look in here. I don't want it to cook too far because I want the broccoli to still be nice and bright green. So I'm just going to let it cook, you know, I'll maybe just give it a taste and see that the broccoli is tender. I'll do that. Use another minute. When that's done, like I said, I'm going to put it in the blender. Use an immersion blender if you want. Blend it up. Check the salt and pepper. You could squeeze a bit of lime if you want. Put a little bit of herb in there if you want to flavor it. And if you really like cream in it, you can add some cream. Yes.
Lynn wants to know if you can use instant oats.
Lynn, good question. Yes, I would instant. The quick ones maybe? Not the ones in the little packet. You don't mean those, do you? I mean the quick ones maybe? Those are rolled oats that I have there. That's what you really want. Yes, you could use the quick oats. So I think I have used quick oats. So yeah, I'd say yes to that. Again, not a fussy recipe.
Hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew. That's nice. Okay, so that's that. So really nice to have you in the kitchen with me tonight. It's like I said, this is a real simple dinner tonight because we've got some leftovers, and just to make it a little more homemade, I've got a soup, got a homemade dessert, and Laura asked to do boeuf bourguignon, and yes, we are going to do that. I just have to get in a little store of lean stewing beef. So I'm going to do, as soon as I get that, my kids are looking for it for me. We're going to do that. It might be tomorrow, might be the next day, I'll let you know. For that though, you're going to need some stew beef, some pearl onions, but you probably aren't going to find those, so shallots will do. You need mushrooms, you need a beef stock. So if you have a beef stock made, you couldn't find me any marrow bones today, so I'm not making my own. I'm probably going to have to get them to buy me beef stock, pre-made. You need red wine. That's the bourguignon part. You need generally, boeuf bourguignon is made with a young red wine. So a Beaujolais or a Chianti is okay, which is Italian. I don't know my wines all that well, but I know, so not like an aged wine, okay? What else do you need for that? And then just some regular pantry items. Yeah, I think that's all. Mushrooms, did I say mushrooms? Okay, so if you want to put those on your list, we will make a boeuf bourguignon for sure. We're going to do it Julia Child style, okay? What else? Yeah, so get ready for that. Oh, and we are going to make ginger snaps. Yes, so that's something else we'll do later this week, ginger snaps. I do take requests. Bonnie requested any kind of a soup with dumplings. Now, Bonnie, the truth is I don't make dumplings, or I never have, but I could learn. This soup isn't one that's going to take dumplings. You're thinking of like a clear broth for like chicken, clear with chunks of chicken and dumplings. Let me see what I can find in terms of a recipe, and I'll get back to you on that one, and we'll try it together, okay? All right, I guess that's all for tonight. Unless Bob has anything he wants to say?
I want to say that everybody have a great night, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Good night.
Okay, bye.